Hello and welcome to Coffee Mantras, Love Mantras, where we are speaking to experts in various fields to gather nuggets that help us understand love from different perspectives. Today we have with us a fairly new Shemantran, who is a holistic nutrition and lifestyle coach based in Bombay. She has many qualifications and certifications in nutrition, wellness, culinary, nature cure, Ayurveda, and plant based nutrition. She has been featured in many publications such as Mumbai Mirror, Midday, Asian Age, The Hindu, just to name a few. Her coaching sessions and workshops are focused on sustainable weight loss, improvement of gut issues, lifestyle and hormonal diseases, as well as autoimmune conditions. I am super excited to have her on Love Mantras. Please help me welcome Vinita Contractor. Yes, Vinita, finally we meet.
Yes. Thank you so much, Kavita, for having me on this session. Forward to our chat.
I look forward to it. Many people ask me, why are you having a nutrition expert on the month of love? But Vinita, one thing that I have realized as I'm growing older, that we talk about self-love, self-care, which we have been in the last 1 month, and we only talk about fitness, physical fitness. But I think one of the most important ingredients or of self-love and self-care is the food that we eat, because at the end of the day the food is what gives us life. It is our fuel. It creates happiness. And so that's why I wanted you to be on our show to shed light on how nutrition and food play such an important part of self love. Now tell me, is am I on the right path?
I think, Kavita, it's bang on. And I just want to say, I wish people looked at it not just at this age, but always.
Absolutely.
Because when we are younger, people say, oh, I can eat anything, I can get away with it. We feed our children also thinking, oh, they don't have to worry about oil and sugar, etc. But we don't realize we are setting them up for habits which they will find hard to, continue as they get older. And I think we all have our work, which could be at home or doing things outside. We have so many multiple roles to play, but at the base of all that is the health that we have, based on which we can perform these various roles. I mean, we women are born multitaskers. We can do many things. But if our health is not supporting us, it's really, really hard. And I feel, as much as the thoughts that we put into our head are important, what material we read, what things we watch is one thing, which is very, very important. But the most gross and the most, vital is our food, because that's something that speaks to you on a daily basis. When
Absolutely.
you eat something which is making you heavy, productive day, you have an upset stomach, you're not able to do your people have started getting very used to the idea and accepting that being constipated or being bloated or having gas issues or having acidity as normal. Now, these things have a direct relation to the food that we eat. So, if we want to love ourselves as women, as human beings who are entitled to vibrant health, then the food has to be a part of that equation. And I think not enough is being focused on. I think either we have the very, very health conscious, or
Yes.
we have, the people who say, I want to enjoy life. Like, what's the point if I'm going to, look at everything before I eat it? So I think it's somewhere in the middle. We don't have to be at the two extreme ends.
Absolutely. I agree with you. I think, like you said, constipation, gas, bloating. Like when I go to the medical store, the pharmacist tells me it is just become like we eat today. I see people buying food and buying these medicines. So it's just become a part of your lifestyle, right? So how do we eliminate this? Can you give us two or three tips or ideas how today we can start upping our nourishment?
Yes. And before I get to actually what we can do, I want to understand that primarily, as you mentioned, food is supposed to be fuel. But we have 10 other reasons why we eat. And
Mhm.
we're all human. So we will comfort eat sometimes. We will want to treat ourselves sometimes. But what is happening is that the fuel part and the sustenance part has become very minimal. And we have all the other reasons why we are eating, you know. rewarding ourselves, treating ourselves, cheating ourselves. I don't even like the word cheating when it comes to food, and the food delivery apps are not making it any easier.
Yeah.
You don't like the sabzi that's made at home, call for something. Achha, someone's come over, call for something. The whole thing of homemade, basic, real foods are actually become a rarity. And we in India are blessed. We do have help. We do not have to do everything ourselves if we don't want to. We have the option. But so I think the number one thing I would say is eat more real food, not food like substances, things which don't have, other than the actual ingredient on the label, anything that you can't pronounce, things which have colors, emulsifiers, preservatives, those are the things that are messing with our hormones. So that would be the first thing I would say. Second thing is cut down on refined sugar. That's something that's very easy to do. Obviously, when you're adding it, you realize, but we need to start reading labels better and know that there are 60 plus names of sugar which are there on food packets. And just presume that if you're buying something in a packet, it will contain sugar in some form or the other, right from your chips to your ketchup to the most unlikely things will contain sugar, or they will contain a high level of sodium, salt, which is also something we don't need. That would be the second thing. And the third thing I would say is cut down on fried food, or generally just adding a lot of oil to food, because it brings up our inflammation. It's not really, so when we eat food, there is something, we understand calorie density, right? So if you eat a bowl full of vegetables or fruits or a salad, with the fiber, it will give you a feeling of fullness, but it won't add to the calorie density. Now, oil, on the other hand, 1 tablespoon can go into a dish and you won't even know it, but it contains a lot more calories and it's not even useful. It's okay to have a calorie dense food if it is serving you. But if it's really taking you away from everything that stands for good health, why would you consume it? It's just that we are not aware. There's no oil. There are villages today, even now, who cook in earthen vessels because food doesn't stick in it. And they don't use oil. Oil was always a rich man's thing. People couldn't afford oil. And people were healthier back then. Not that oil is the only culprit, but I'm just saying, if you ask me for 3 things, it would be this: eat more real food, cut down on sugar, refined sugar added or through our packets, and third would be to reduce oil and fried food.
I have so many questions for you. Given the fact that we have 10, 12 minutes, we are going to do another session with you for sure on this. I know you have a sugar detox program also, right? I
Yes.
think that's something that we all need to get on. It's tough.
Sure.
And even oil, and there's so much talk about different oils, what to use, what
Yes.
not to use. I
Yes.
think we can do one whole session
It's
on.
it's a whole Pandora's box
Yes,
which we
I
can.
want to open that Pandora's box. I'm not able
Sure.
to, understand which oil to use. So we'll have a conversation about that with you. I wanted to ask you another question. You've given us great tips, but many of us here are either perimenopausal or menopausal. And our body is going through changes. We have these mood swings, our hormones are fluctuating. So, can you help us understand how nutrition and lifestyle can make a difference and actually help us deal with this menopausal pain or
Phase. Yeah.
symptoms, whatever you call it?
So
So,
phase. So I would divide it into 2 things. I would talk about lifestyle as well as nutrition. From a lifestyle perspective, uh, all the things I'm going to say are not new, but I want to tell you how important they are very, very, they're not stated enough. They're completely like forgotten. Sleep. Sleeping as close to 10 p.m. will help to set your circadian rhythm right. Because of so many options to entertain us, and the fact that we are sedentary most of the time, we are not actually that tired. So we feel if I'm not tired, it's okay for me to stay awake. But if we want our hormones to function better, taking in the sunlight in the morning, just being in sunlight for some time sets our circadian rhythm, and sleeping at a time which is as close to 10 p.m., which I know is laughable for most people, but honestly, you are riding a wave at that time. You will not naturally fall off to sleep at that time if you are not on a screen, if you allowed yourself.
wow.
That's the time nature will get you to sleep if you're not stimulated. So one would be sleep. Second would be to get more exercise and movement into our life. This is obviously applicable for all human beings because we were not designed to sit for so many hours. But especially now when our hormones, like you mentioned, are they're not, I wouldn't say out of whack, they're going in the natural way biology is meant to, function. And menopause is a new modern day situation because in earlier times, women didn't live through menopause.
Correct.
40, 60 years ago, we didn't have as many people of this age. So when it comes to movement and exercise, that will help with the insulin resistance. It will help with overall sense of well-being, even the accumulation of, fat around the belly or anywhere else. That can help a great deal. And the third thing I would say is kind of comes in both categories is reducing caffeine intake and alcohol intake. You might say, I enjoy my drink. What's wrong with that? As long as you know that it's affecting your hormones and it's affecting your overall health. You may get a dopamine rush at that time, or you may feel like you're relaxed, but you're paying more than you're getting for what you're doing. So a caffeine, whether it's a simple cup of tea had a little late in the evening or coffee, different people process caffeine differently. So it could be one of the reasons you're not able to fall asleep because of the caffeine. And that's again, sabotaging your hormones, staying up. So these would be the things in terms of lifestyle. And in terms of nutrition, I would say include a variety of vegetables, whatever is seasonal, whatever is local. We do not need to buy superfoods or buy expensive, vegetables just because they are healthy. Let's understand when they are grown out of their normal environment, there are far more pesticides put. There are far more factors that need to be controlled for that thing to be grown. So just sticking to regional, seasonal fruit and vegetable, and in plentiful quantity, and upping protein. The Indians tend to be more carbohydrate rich in our food, and if you're vegetarian anyway, even your vegetarian protein sources have a lot of carbohydrate. So you're not getting enough of protein, and that makes a difference in satiety. We never realize people talk of protein for muscle growth. Honestly, we women don't have enough muscle mass. So again, the exercise will help us to get more muscle mass, which you're anyway losing. That's again happening biologically. You're not doing anything, for that process to happen. But by not exercising, you're actually speeding that process. And which is why eating enough protein, enough fiber will help you to function better. And because of that, whatever you can do to help your hormones a bit, you would be doing your bit.
You know what you've done, no, Vinita? You have just opened up Pandora's box. Don't feel like saying we are done with this interview.
It just means we have to have another session.
No, we are going to have you. We already have decided, we want to have you back on Coffee Mantra and we do a full session with you. Oh my gosh, I'm going to watch this again. There's so many questions I have for you, and I'm sure people who are watching also. Guys, she has her own YouTube channel. She puts up her recipes, her tips. And more than that, she's a part of Shemantra. So if you have any questions, she is always available for us and she'll give us tips, ideas. And if you want to go on the sugar detox, maybe we should do that as a part of a Shemantra challenge and have a group of people try the sugar detox challenge. How about that?
Sure. Yeah, I'm happy to do whatever we as a collective want.
Yeah. I think without sugar, though sugar is sweet, and we kind of think of sweet and love and everything going together. I think without sugar, we should see how much self-love we are going to be giving ourselves.
No, and I think it's a very deep relationship, sugar and us.
Yes.
And what we need to understand is the more the body is used to getting it in the ready form, the more it will ask for it when it's low on energy, because it's used to the quickest form of getting it.
We are going to do this. We are going to do the detox in Shemantra, and let's have some fun. After this video comes out, I'm going to start a group on that. So again, I hate cutting this video interview short, but thank you so much for being a part of this series that we are calling Love Mantras, and you've really shared some useful tips with us today. Thank you so much, Vinita.
Thank you very much, Kavita, and I hope whoever watches this gets a lot of value and feels inspired to make these small changes.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you.